come all the way from Cambodia to be with us for this conference. She is the director of a program, an HIV/AIDS response program in Cambodia, supported by Caritas Australia. I had the great pleasure of working with her on an emergence resource, which Caritas Australia has just released. So today she shares her perspectives, her insights, and her hopes for solidarity in service learning. So please make her feel welcome.
How I greet you in Cambodia. I'm actually a Filipina, but has lived in Cambodia since 1997 and elsewhere before that. Happy New Year! I'm not kidding. It's New Year in Cambodia today. The heavens is supposed to open on 8:20 tonight, and the Adidis will come. And not just Cambodia, actually a few countries in South Asia. So Happy New Year. I think it's a good thing to start, but also just to shift, to give us a little bit of a shift in thinking. I won't be hopefully, I don't have as much wordy slides as brother. I won't be as scholarly as brother, but I hope I give something that all of us here will learn. So, as mentioned, I'm Len Montiel, and thank you for inviting me. Thank you for the attention, and thank you for the warm welcome. It's a bit cold, but it's nice. We're enjoying 42 degrees here in Cambodia. I'm happy to be here. All right. So before we begin, I would actually like to begin looking at some of the pictures of the people that I live with and I work with. And when we look at these pictures, please be mindful, please be conscious of what is the first thought, what are the words that comes to your mind. No deep analyzing, just the instant gut feel, Okay, so let us begin. Oh, sorry. It's on. Somewhere. Yeah. Oh, any presentation is not complete without this. All right. Can we turn off the lights in front? Yeah, this is just series of pictures. Okay, thank you. So, just a quick show of hands. What are the first? Who are the first? Who among you's first thought was, "Oh, poor, destitute, marginalized. What can I do to help? Is anybody helping? Let's start a fundraiser, a GoFundMe. Oh, so dirty." Those are the first thoughts that often comes up to mind, not just for visitors, people like you, but even for people like us who've been there forever. Now let me ask again, who among you thought, wow, resilient, creative, masters of living, teachers. Rarely are those words the first thought that comes to our mind. A lot of it times is pity, if you will, mercy, compassion. But I'd like us to shift, I would like to propose, I'd like us to shift today, and then to shift a little bit, as I say, Happy New Year, and think of the people that I will be talking about, I will sharing with you as our masters of learning, masters of resiliency. They have PhD in surviving and living life, of making something out of nothing, of like the lotus growing out of the mud to be a beautiful flower and being used everything for everything. So let us just think of that way. Okay, and I would like to say that what I'm sharing with you is from my own lens, my own story. It is a Cambodian story. It's the story of some of the people that I live and work with. But it is viewed and interpreted from my own lens, my own interpretation. Now, if you ask them, they may tell a very different interpretation, a very different story. Or maybe not. And hopefully with coalesce. Because it's important for all of us, learners, visitors, leaders, to think of it from who am I? What am I bringing into this? Rather than projecting what the others should think or must think. Okay, I start with that because I think it is important that we are, all of us, not just so aware of what we are coming from when we go somewhere. What are we bringing? What are my luggages when I go meet some other people? And how is that affecting the relationship that will start or is already there when I meet that person? And let me expound on this on a real-life example. I'm better at giving examples and stories. As mentioned, I work with in a program that is a response to the HIV/AIDS issues in Cambodia. Part of the program is with children who are living with HIV in poverty. All our clients are living in poverty. And most of the kids in this story are mostly the kids whom we haven't found their families yet. So by default, they grew up with us. They grew up with us. So every week, it's Friday now, it used to be Wednesday, a group of students from one of the international schools in Phnom Penh have a joint activity with our young people. Okay? In my mind, this is a joint collaborative activity, common learning. Okay? And the international school is mainly for children of rich expatriates and the very rich Cambodian. Very good school, very expensive. So I think it's great for both our kids and their kids. One day, not so recently, okay, have the picture. Not so recently, the program is their activity is painting murals. Painting murals in the wall of in the walls of our center, where our office and everything is. Very good, very creative, fun activities, isn't it? And it was very good. I mean, their kids, they planned it together, they executed together. Except, okay, when I first came after the whole product is finished, and there in the upper right-hand corner is the huge name of the school. Exactly. My first instinct is grab a bucket of paint and splash it all over. I didn't do that. So I went, but it's like, oh my gosh, I was really appalled. It's our home, it's our center. I just felt I was branded. I mean, it wasn't Gucci or anything, but it's like, oh my gosh. So I went to the kids, look for the kids and say, did you plan and did do this together? And they said, yes. Did you agree to the design? Yes. Okay. Why is their name there? And they said, well, they brought the paints and the materials. I said, you have the wall. I said, it's our wall. But they said, no, they brought the paints and the materials. I said, how do you feel about it? They don't live there, but it's your center, it's your home base, so to speak. It's their name branded there. And they said, well, not too comfortable, but that's the way it is. They brought the paints and the materials. I keep on saying them, you have the wall. But it doesn't matter, because the international school kids brought the materials. And it's always the international school kids, going out of their way to be with our poor little children. Think about it. That's the end of my slides. That's not the end of my talk. But just think about it. Earlier, Brother Damien had said, what are the damages that some of our interaction left behind? Precisely what happened here with our kids are some of the long-lasting damages that our world, not just those international kids, that our kids and the international school kids, and likely the kids that you are working with, and likely you and me, are still living with up to this day. So much of the unequal power dynamics, if you will, unequal status that we live with, that instinctively we carry. That's why I ask you, what is your gut reaction when you see the poor, when you see such situation? Is it, oh, so poor? Or is it glorifying poverty? Nobody wants to live in poverty. Don't glorify that either. But what is our gut reaction? And how does that affect our relationship with the people that we encounter? Especially when we come and visit and help and serve the poor. Who are we really serving? So I was thinking, what propelled the kids, the international school kids, to put their big name there, to put the design? And obviously not their house. How would they feel if I come to their house and put my name there? Their parents would probably drive me out of the house. But where did the international school kids come from? What thoughts? Where did they learn it? Maybe a recognition for their service, a recognition for their labor. I don't know. Or maybe an entitlement because I donated the paints anyway. And so I can paint your house. I don't know. But when I ask my kid, our kids, definitely there is that lack of sense of value, even an ownership of their place. I am not working with the international school kids. I am working with our kids, and we have been working a long way. But what we need to learn and unlearn, what we need to learn is that each of our kids is as worthy as those international kids. That their place, they have to learn to own and value their own place in their center, in their house, in this world. But that's not exactly what we learn in our world. So when you ask, what are the damages? A lot of us carry that some culture, some races, some colors, some economic status, whatever status we have in this world is not as good as the others. Even I myself, I'm so full of confidence, God knows what. But when I see all of you here, mostly white, older, learned people, I tremble a little bit. I mean, I work out with all my baggages. I'm still working with it, but it's still. But just look at all of you. It's enough, if we compare my status and your status in life, the world would look at it differently. I wouldn't look at it differently. And I would like, how do we get there? And sad to say, in a service learning experience, that like our international kids and the international kids and our kids have experienced, supposedly a good time to learn, a good time, a good compassionate time, our kids and their kids perpetuate a prevailing status in our world. It's not just in Cambodia, it's everywhere. And so my challenge is, And our challenge for each one of us is, not just through your learning service or community outreach, etc., is how do we teach? I mean, we are still learning, we adults, but how do we teach our young people so that they make this world a better place than we are? We definitely are making it. How do we teach them that each encounter that they have is a chance to transform, to build relationship, an equal relationship, if you will, a loving, a just relationship, not charitable. Charity is okay, but sometimes it could still be, I'm the one giving. Yeah, giver is okay. I mean, it's better to give than to receive. Yeah, that's good too. But still, if you look at it, the giver still is the giving, and the receiver is the passive. And it's perpetuating what we already know is not a working system in our world. Okay, we're talking about the kids. In the same story, there are adults involved, not just the kids. One of the parents of the international kids I know. And then she said to me, hey, Len, I received this letter for our kid to go to an outreach to the Maryknoll Orphanage. I didn't know you have an orphanage. I said, never did, never have, never will be. Because we don't believe as an organization ourselves to have an orphanage, to label that. We do have, as I said, by not our plans, we do have kids that somehow grew up with us. So there are foster homes, and then there are we try to rent places that are normal and nondescript. And then not more than 10 children actually, no, less than that, with housekeeper. So already institution, we try to make it not so institutionalized because we don't believe in that. And we don't believe in labeling the kids. So I said, no, we don't have an orphanage. And I thought that was not, it's supposed to be an outreach from the international school kids. Anyway, I asked our staff first who's involved about that, and she said, well, see, there's English, Cambodian English, so there's the language issues. I said, do you understand what's going on here? And she said, yes, sister, but when you say sister, it's not because I'm a Catholic sister, it's just because we're sisters, older sister, younger sister. Yes, older sister, I know that, and I tried to tell them it's not orphanage, but the lady involved in the international school said it's an orphanage. Besides, it sounds more touching. So I went and wrote an email, and I said we don't have an orphanage, etc. Besides, when the program started, it was a great partnership with one of the parents, actually. But we're on the same side of the issue. But schools change, staff in schools change, so that goes. And I can't believe how much email back and forth and effort I put into this. And I was dealing with a very educated native Caucasian native English speaker. And I thought, how could I make this more clear? That we don't have an orphanage, we don't like to use that word, and more importantly, it's not an outreach. Your kids and our kids are reaching out to each other. They are building relationship, and hopefully they are understanding each other so much better. And as you and I well know, if we have a relationship with somebody, we have more patience with them. We understand them better, and love sometimes is truly blind. If we love somebody, we forgive a lot of things. Whereas if we don't know, we don't have a relationship with that somebody, it's easy to judge, it's easy to correct. But in her mind, their kids is outreaching to us. In my mind, I thought they're not. I thought we're reaching out to each other. And so all of you, I heard all of you, a lot of you here are the leaders of your school and religious education. So think about it. How do you think? What is learning, service learning in your program? And how do you view the people on the street, the old lady in the house, or Lenny, or my name is Len, and Len, the example of the Lenny earlier, and all that. But how do you view them? How do you view your program? I'm often asked why I stay in Cambodia, how did I become a nun, etc., and why Cambodia? And I responded always, and I hope I will do. because I was really appalled by the genocide that happened in Cambodia. And the word interest, I don't think is good. But I was really appalled and affected by that. As a kid, as a young lady, as a young woman. And how do you start over again from that? From a genocide experience? How do you start forgiving? How do you start living and loving again? I'm still learning. We're still learning. I don't think we're making a good. I don't think we're making a good work out of it, but we're still learning. So when people think of, oh, you're helping Cambodians, I am in some ways, but I really can't because I don't know. I'm a self-righteous young woman. I was really a self-righteous theology of liberation and all that. And so again, today when Brother Damien said, think of Jesus as the upside-down Messiah. Think of yourself. Put yourself upside down. After all, we're all made in the image and likeness of God. Don't think of Jesus as the upside-down Messiah. Look at yourself upside down. And that's why when I talk about service learning, I'd say in the blurb that they asked me to do in November, honestly, I don't think of my talk in April and November. But let's put the emphasis on learning rather than on service. Make it learning service. Maybe the same meaning. I'm not an English expert, not even a native English speaker. But why? Oftentimes when we hear service, there is a provider and there is a receiver. As I've said earlier, better give to receive. But then there is that the receiver is what? The receiver is a little bit lower maybe, or it's just passive, whereas the giver is the actor. So whereas in learning, learning, we're the ones receiving from the teacher or something else. It humbles us. We're all, so we always, when I was a young lady, a young student, I was told, take off your shoes. You're in holy ground. And that's true. And in Cambodia, in a lot of places, you take off your shoes before you enter because you don't want to dirty the floor. But think about it. Take off your shoes, you're in holy ground. But also take off your shoes because your shoes may be dirty and I just cleaned my floor. And you might just dirty that and I'll do more work when you leave. A lot of times women don't have the time. And that's another thing to do. But yes, so think of emphasize that you are learners here. The situation, the people that you will meet out there are your teachers. But also, look at yourself as the subject and the object of your learning, not the people out there, not the situation out there. How will I react to poverty? How will I react to destitution? What will be my tone of voice? What will be my facial expression? Melissa is just telling me my time is, but also I was laughing because the example is, she was putting in latte. I like my coffee long black. And she was ordering latte and I said, oh, latte? I was like, how could you drink latte? But those kind of examples, sometimes stinky fish sauce. But how would that affect? I love fish sauce, but it's stinky. Or the stinky durian. Sometimes it's just so little example. But how does that affect the person you are with who may value that latte so much? It may not even be your words. It may be your facial expression. And that's why when I say, turn around. Don't study. Please study what's going on somehow. There's nothing worse than somebody coming in and not knowing anything. But turn around and make myself the subject, the foremost focus of this, as often as should be in the service learning. It's not about the people out there or the situation out there. It's about our students. So how would you react to this? What are the baggages that would hinder your learning, that would affect them, the people there? And how would it affect them? Brother Damien said briefing, debriefing. I grew up with action, reflection, reflection. Kind of like that rather than briefing, debriefing. But action, reflection, action. And that should always be with us, with the people that we're learning. And it never stops. It is an ongoing cycle. From action, reflection, action. And for service learning or learning service, think of yourself as the object of learning, not others. I support this. I'm living this life because somebody took time to show me what poverty beyond what I thought poverty is. And somebody walked with me and reflected with me. And so I really support this. And I support the international kids coming to our place because I do believe that somehow in that interactions, something grows. And hopefully the children, the next generation will learn it better than we do. And make this place a better place for all of us. Not just the select few, but for everyone. Thank you.